Yes. Awesome. We're recording.
Okay.
Perfect. So, well, Mike, how are you?
I'm fine, man. How are you, Gerardo?
I'm very happy to have the opportunity to talk with you. You know why?
Because I'm your
Because
old man.
I'm going to tell you something, and I really want to tell you this. I've been following you like I don't know, maybe 15 years, 20 years, and you are really a role model to me, to myself.
Oh,
And I really, for me, see the way you work with the sharks, the way you live your passion, and the way you, how do I say that, the way you complement your life. And you're it's awesome, bro. I mean, when I grew up, I want to be like you.
that's right. Well, I think I'm the oldest guy in the business. I was, you're just joking about that. I was talking to Valerie Taylor. You know Valerie?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Valerie the other day. She's a good friend for many years back. I used to spearfish way back in the days. And that's how I met them in 1958, something like that. And anyway, I've been friends through the years. And I was talking about her the other day. I said, man, we're getting old. I mean, like it was like she told me. I'll remember in a minute. I forgot what I was going to say, but anyway, we're the old guys. I think we're the only ones left out there anymore. And well, I have a passion. Me and my wife, we have a foundation, so we work with sharks, and of course, I like to film sharks and everything. So.
Yeah, you say you're getting old, but you are much more younger than a younger people that I know.
Well, I'm 83 now, so it's like every day gets tougher to get in. I guess I'll be like Jacques Cousteau and put me in a wheelchair, put me down in the ocean.
That will be great. Hey, I want to go to dive with you. It's happening
One day,
this year.
we got to do it. We got to do it, man. I love to dive. I try to stay away from the strong currents and stuff anymore. If I get in the water and get behind the camera, sharks don't bother me. It's the currents and the swimming against sometimes that wears you out. I mean, you gotta say how it is.
Exactly.
You
I,
know.
I agree with you. Hey, Mike, I have
Sure.
I have developed some questions to ask you.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we start?
Yeah. Whenever you're ready, I'll try to answer them.
Awesome. The first one, you start diving in 1960,
Right.
before I born. This was
Before you're born,
at the
probably.
age of 17. Is that correct?
That's right. Well, I was 17 exactly.
What
Exactly.
initially drew you to the underwater world, and in particular with sharks?
Well, and I'll tell you, I was born in Texas, in West Texas, in the Panhandle. And I came to Panama when I was 17. I was actually 16 when I got here. But the I used to watch Sea Hunt. Remember the old Sea Hunt, Mike Nelson?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch that, when I was a young kid in Texas. And I said, man, that's what I want to do. I want to get out there and dive with sharks and get in the ocean and see all the animals and everything. But, I said, I'll never be able to do that. I'm in West Texas, in the desert. And so it was really a passion for me then. I really didn't know it would come true. But then I got to Panama, and when I was in Panama, I was at the YMCA, and I saw scuba diving lessons.
How
And
how long have you been in Panama?
I've been in Panama since I was 17, 16 and
Awesome.
a half.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, great.
All
So
my life. All my
awesome.
life almost, yeah.
So
The
you saw
Panameño boy.
that. So you saw the scuba diving lessons, and then what?
Yeah, I saw a sign. The YMCA said, "Hey, scuba diving." And I said, "Oh, scuba diving? That's what I want to do." Here I am. Something brought me here, and I went into class, and it was like 3 or 4 people. In those days, nobody really knew what that was or cared about it, and I went in with a passion. And I learned to dive. I become the first instructor here in Panama because they brought in an instructor to do the course, or he didn't live here.
Okay.
And he gave us a course to be instructors. Later on, I become an instructor with 2 other people. And yeah, that's how I got started.
And what about sharks? When you saw your first shark?
Oh, man, I saw sharks the first time I got in the water.
So you saw them before the Jaws movie?
No, the first time, no. I had never saw them before, except in movies, you know. And I got in the water, and the first day I was diving, I saw sharks. Because in Panama.
But what I mean, you saw your first shark before the movie Jaws was.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, I was 75 or something like that. You know?
Awesome.
This was 1960s, but you know, we used to make our tanks out of Pepsi Cola bottles or Coca-Cola bottles. You know, we buy the bottles, and we buy. I don't know if you remember the old T valve.
Uh-huh.
With the tank, one valve had, you know, just turns on top like
exactly.
a T valve.
I had one like this for it was for my father.
Yeah. And I bought these. We'd buy these tanks and we'd have them cleaned out, and then we would take them to the oxygen company, the place that filled oxygen tanks and things, and fill them up and put the T valve in it. And I had one of the old Cousteau Gagnon double hose 1-stage regulator. You know, like and made the diving tanks out of a parachute harness. You know, it was primitive times. You know, primitive times.
That's amazing. I have some pictures of my father and my mother doing some scuba dive with that kind of harness.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But your dad was a diver and your mom?
Well, my mom died when I was a 1-year-old kid.
Oh.
But I have a lot of pictures of them doing scuba diving. So that's where my dreams come.
It's in your blood.
It's in my blood because also my grandfather used to do a scuba dive, and now my kids are doing scuba dive. So 4 generations.
4 generations, my God, yeah.
Nice.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, the only one I got to be hanging around me is my wife. You know, she's with me all the time. You know, I think I haven't. I mean, when I dive, I got a bad habit sometimes diving by myself because I love to dive by myself. You know, I mean, it's a crazy thing. I understand what you say. Or people say you can't dive, but you know, she drives the boat and I dive. You know,
exactly.
And it was we made a good team, but still at it.
Amazing, bro. Okay, well, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Over that 6 decades of diving, how was your perception of sharks involved, and what key lessons have you learned about these creatures?
Yeah. Well, let me see. Let me read your question. I think I said that. What would you repeat that again, please? What did you say?
Exactly. How has worked your perceptions of sharks involved, and what key lessons have you learned about these creatures? What lessons does the sharks give to you? Lessons of life.
Yeah,
we can adapt as a human beings.
Exactly. Well, you know, the thing is, I got to explain to you, when I started diving, and I think when Valerie started diving, we all were diving, it was spearfishing. You know, that's all it was. There was no underwater cinematography. There was no conservation. There was none of that. You know, we just go out and shoot fish. And of course, when we shoot fish, you know, the tax man would take his share. And we had, like Valerie said, she killed sharks. She wished she hadn't, but she did. Same thing here. I killed sharks. I wished I hadn't, but I did. So for me, at the moment, they were like, hey, they steal my fish, you die. You know, I would shoot them. You know, it was like no idea of conservation. So we've all been there. Not, you know, you preach the conservation and saving the sharks and all this, but we've all been there. And that was my time. But then, as I say, I got in underwater cinematography back in 70. I believe. I was 71, 72. I was living on an island, building on an island called Coiba Island.
Okay.
It's in Panama. And I was there building a lodge out there, a fishing camp that they wanted to build. I was a young guy, dude, you know. So I said, hey, there's no need to be spearfishing. There's all kind of fish here, you know. I didn't have to show off. There's nobody to compete with. And so at that time, to get back to that, we had, you know, I don't know if probably in Mexico they had it, because I competed with a lot of Mexicans internationally in spearfishing. So they had international tournaments. And so I represented Panama for several years.
Tank, right?
No, free diving.
Free diving, okay.
Free diving, no, free diving. No, never a tank. But I represented Panama in international tournaments in Cuba, Mexico, the States, Brazil, Peru, everywhere, you know. So when I got to this working on the island, I said, you know, spearfishing, I've killed so many fish. There's so many beautiful fish here. And I saw the sharks in a different way, also the fish in a different way. And I said, you know, hang this up. I want to film them. I want to be able to show them. And I was able to go out and get, I had a Nikonus, the old Nikonus 1 or 2, something like that. But then I was able to get a 16 millimeter Kodak K100.
Really?
I don't know if you remember that camera. It was an old 16 millimeter Kodak. And it was a wind up thing. And
awesome. Big one.
No, it was actually a little camera, and you could actually, you get 3 minutes of film in a row. 3 minutes in a row, you know. And I got an Al Ginnings housing, and I started just filming what I could film. But I started to film fish, and then I got into sharks. I said, man, filming sharks, that was like crazy. And then I started filming billfish.
Okay.
Billfish. That was my passion. I said, man, I'm the first person to ever do this. And I didn't realize I was shooting sharks and nobody had ever done it as well. But I would go out during the day. This is crazy. You got to hear this. You got to hear crazy. You're going to hear crazy stories from me. It's more interesting than telling stupid things, you know. But
that's what I want to hear. Come on.
Yeah, crazy things. But when I get out, you know, I would go out in the boat by myself, and I had my camera because nobody would dive. Nobody was diving in this area, and I was in a remote area, and there was so much billfish, like sailfish by the thousands, you know, hundreds would come up and be billing, you know, slapping the surface, and you know how they get. And I would go out in a little boat, a little open boat, and I would put out a daisy chain behind the boat. A daisy chain is a bunch of squid with no hook. We didn't have a hook, just a rubber squids. And I'd put out a lot of them behind the boat and drag it. And these billfish would come up and start slapping it, and I would pull back the motor a little bit, get really slow. And here I'm in the middle of the ocean, right?
Okay.
I have my mask. I just let go of the boat, boom, over the side with my camera. Go up with the current, go by the fish because the boat kept going. I would go right by them, you know, filming them. Filming these billfish, grabbing bait and stuff. And I mean, that was amazing for me. I thought that was just crazy. And sometimes I had to fight my way back to the boat. I said, man, the boat's going to leave me in the middle of the ocean because the current was pushing. The boat was in neutral, but the boat was still going.
Yeah, because of the current.
Yeah, but I was indispensable in those days. You know, I could do anything. But
what about sharks? There were sharks.
Oh yeah, sharks everywhere, man. But you know, the sharks, I was never really. I respected the sharks, but I was never. For some reason, I never had the fear of them. You know, at that time.
Do you fear?
We'll get on later about the fear.
Okay.
The fear came later because of what happened. But at that time, I had no fear, and I was just the shark would be underneath. I'd swim them, and you know, like go ahead. But I was asked. There were some fishermen that came in to do fishing, and they're famous fishermen, and they had an old magazine called Field and Stream back in those days. And I got a cover shot.
Awesome.
Of me with a sailfish underwater. You know, and nobody in the world had ever seen that. It was, man, a billfish underwater, space fighting. God, who did this? And it sort of brought some fame to me there, 15 minutes of fame, whatever. But ABC Wild World of Sports old TV sports channel. ABC Wild World of Sports, they came to Panama to do sport fishing episodes. And they said, who's this crazy guy that jumps in the middle of the fucking ocean with sharks and billfish and stuff? We got to find him. So they got hold of me. I said, sure, I'll film it for you.
Which year was that?
Oh, God, that was probably 1972, 73.
When I born.
Yeah, about when you're born, yeah.
I don't know.
It was a long time ago. And so I said, sure. And so they would come out, they would put one boat fishing, and then it'd be on the camera boat over here. And then when they would fish, they would catch the billfish and everything. Boom, I'd go in the water and film it. And I get oceanic white tips going up behind the sharks and stuff and filming. And nobody had ever saw that before. And that's actually how I met Jeremiah Sullivan.
Okay.
Old Jeremiah back in those days. And he had known Valerie and for before that, or about the same time, they started doing the shark suit. And he said, my God, man, you're in the fucking water filming these things. He said, I want to come down and join you, man. I want to get in the water with you with the billfish. So come on down, we'll do it. So I did a National Geographic shot with Jeremiah. So, I mean, it's crazy how these things sort of just, and I did a few shots like that. They went on about their business. I went on about my business. And during that time, I was also able to get in the water with killer whales that nobody had ever done. And I took a few shots of those, really raggedy shots. But nobody had ever been in the water with killer whales. And it was an experience, a wild experience.
Hey, how do you feel that in those days you go in the water, and each time you go in the water, at least, well, most of the times, you saw sharks.
Yeah.
And then you go in the water, and it's very hard to see a shark. What your feelings about this?
Well, times have changed, of course. It was like, you like I was explaining, you couldn't get in the water without seeing a shark. I mean, the first time you got in, if you were spearfishing, boom, you got one fish and two fish, and that was it. Now the sharks are disappearing in a lot of areas, and they're more abundant in some areas. That's what I don't understand. But in some areas, they're just completely gone. 60% less than what I saw in the 80s. But I saw a decline in the 80s, the 90s. The 90s are starting to get really bad. And 2000, it was almost zero. I mean, I see these spear fishermen nowadays, and they're not spear fishing, and they're grabbing the fish, and they're knifing it, doing this macho shit. And I said, man, you wouldn't do that back in my day, And it was because there's no sharks around.
Hey, Mike, is there a hope?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they're starting to come back. I think in the last 2 or 3 years, I've been seeing the sharks starting to come back in certain areas. Some species, no. But we have a serious problem here in Panama of killing sharks. I mean, we don't have a law to protect sharks in Panama. That's a problem.
Yeah, well, it's the same. I think it's the same in Mexico and all Latin America. Cocos also, Galapagos, they're supposed to be a huge protector areas, and happens also, no?
Well, I have one of my tagged satellite sharks moving into Galapagos right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's moving in. She's about 120 nautical miles outside of Darwin and Wolf. And I tagged her on 4th of May in Panama.
Great.
And she's moving on. Of course, she's not by herself. I'm sure she's with many schooling hammerheads. But it's never been done before here in Panama. It's never been proven, the migration pattern.
Yeah, that's a satellite tag or
satellite tags. Oh yeah, satellite. And but it's never been done from Panama to show the migration because they come to Panama to give birth. They come from the Galapagos, come into Panama, they give birth in the mangrove areas.
Okay.
And then they move out, and we didn't know whether. I had probably the idea they were going to go up to Cocos, or they hang around in Cocos, and then they go back to Galapagos. Because these sharks, when they give birth, that means they got a year it takes a year of gestation. So that means they can't breed immediately. So my idea is they're breeding either in Cocos or in Galapagos and then waiting a year to come back. Just like the great whites. If you see a female great white this year, you're not going to see her next year.
Exactly.
Because she'll be back every other year. So it's basically the same idea with the hammerheads. So it's very interesting now to see that she passed Cocos. I mean, she got right on the 20 nautical miles off of the rock and turned right toward Galapagos. She stayed one day.
In Galapagos.
Next day, she's headed toward Galapagos. So that means that whatever the reason, they don't stay in Galapagos or in Cocos Island.
They want to go to Galapagos.
Yeah, they go straight on back to Darwin. So I just can't wait till she arrives on the scene. And then our satellite tag should last about a year, before the battery goes out. So we'll have a lot of time to see where she's moving and everything. And you say, well, why is he doing this? Why am I doing that? I'll tell you why I'm doing this. It's because I have been I've been asked to talk in the Asamblea Nacional, with explaining what's happening here in Panama, the killing of so many sharks, and why they're being killed, quantities of sharks. It was after a confiscation of over 6 tons of fins that we got last year. So I've been trying to prove that these sharks have a migration pattern, and all of these sharks are coming in, giving birth, and all the young ones are being fished and killed for ceviche and tacos and cazón, by the thousands.
Yeah, the same as Mexico, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're chopping off their heads or tails and just the little bodies, and then they're filleting them out and using them for ceviche. And we have a DNA laboratory in our foundation, and we're able to do a lot of work to find out what type of sharks or if they're really shark meat. And we've done tests, and 90% end up to be shark. So yeah, shark. And we went to the best restaurants, the lower end restaurants.
90% of the ceviche.
90%.
Damn, that's huge, bro.
It's a huge, bro. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I mean, when it says ceviche de pescado, seguro, it's tiburón.
Shark, ceviche tiburón.
Sometimes they say ceviche de corvina. ¿Tú sabes cuál es corvina, no?
Yeah.
Corvina. If they say ceviche de corvina, then, well, maybe. But we find out that a lot of the restaurants, they don't make their ceviche. They buy it out from cevicherias.
Okay.
And they bring them in and they serve it because it's not really their how do you say, to make ceviche. Some of the higher end restaurants or Peruvian restaurants, they'll make their own type of ceviche, and usually that's a good one. It's a good corvina. But awesome. you see the price of a dish of what they say corvina for $3.50, $4 when they sell a fillet $20 a pound. So how can you do that? It doesn't make sense. It's shark, and then it holds up for several days, for a week almost. Compared to other. And I found bull shark and hammerhead in the same plate.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, bro, tell us some adventures about your documentaries. Tell us something. Let us know about the documentaries you've been working and be part of them.
Well, I've worked on several, 3 major ones. I just actually finished up one called Shark Parade with some friends of mine in Italy. And it'll be actually premiered on the 10th.
Awesome. In
Milan. And then it will be on Amazon Prime, I think 2 weeks later or something like that. But it'll be on Amazon Prime by the 1st of July. It's called Shark Parade. It's about the killing of so many sharks and the consumption of sharks. And then I worked with Ocean Ramsey and Juan on Saving Jaws, which one that we did. So I did on several different ones. They're also making a documentary about my life here. On my life, yeah. Well, I made a movie. I don't know if you know about it. It's called Ghost Divers.
No, I don't know about it. If you can send it to me, it will be great.
Yeah, well, I'll send you the trailer and I'll send you all the information on it. It'll be released in major theaters the same week as Jaws. They're releasing Jaws again
Oh, really?
in the theaters. I can understand 50-year anniversary. 50 so they're releasing Jaws again. A big deal. So we're releasing that movie during that week. So it's called Ghost Divers, and it's a pretty interesting documentary. It's not a documentary, it's a movie.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I mean, making documentaries is, it's mostly, telling about what's going on with sharks, the killing of sharks, the consumption of sharks, and things like that.
Yeah, I know perfectly.
Yeah.
The thing you have been doing and creating awareness the last.
The awareness. I mean, it's the most important thing. But you're also doing a few, aren't you?
Yeah, I have two documentaries. The first one called Sharks of Mexico.
Right. That was one of my favorite ones. I still have that.
Oh, really?
I still have that. I watch it every now and then on my TV. I got it on my downloaded file.
Thank you very much for
that.
that.
With the white sharks and everything. That was amazing.
Yeah. And the other one called I made it the Legacy. That documentary is about whale sharks. Well, I've been with my. I am showing to my Santiago son about the shark and tell him about the importance, and I'm like delegate him the responsibility to the sharks. That this it's a big. That yes, it's amazing. Hey, you told me before that you don't have to. You don't used to have fear of the sharks, but then the fear comes later. What happens?
Well, this is way back in the 70s as well. But this is when I was still spearfishing. I mean, I would go back, even though I was filming, I would still go back. And then when I go back, I was fishing. And this was about 1974. This is after this. And I was down in an area called Piñas Bay. It's down toward Colombia. It's actually very close to Malpelo.
Okay.
It's one of it's in there. It's called Punto Caricoles. And it's just full of big fish, big predators, from Wahoo to Bojala, what we call Bojala. The amberjack was big Pacific amberjack. Very good eating. The Pacific amberjack is really good eating. And also yellowtail jack, big cubera, everything. There's everything down there. And we were spearfishing, and there was only 4 of us, and 2 of us went around the point. 2 of us were on one side of the point. The boat was outside. And the guy who was diving with went back to the boat, and we just had a lunch, had something to eat, and sort of just, hanging out in the bongo. We just went out in a bongo. And I said, well, I'm going to jump back in. So I just got back in, and I swam in, and I'm sort of relaxing. And I hear the ocean go quiet. When you get all the bait fish around and moving around, and all of a sudden it goes,
really?
Yeah, everything goes quiet. Woof. Like all the fish took off. And then I said, oh, shit. You got to be maybe a big school of amberjack coming in. So I was getting ready. Dude, I looked off to the side of me, and I had about a 16-foot big tiger, about 16-foot female. I mean, her colors were gone almost. She was so big, faded out. And she come out in front of me, and I went, oh, shit, because she was right on top of me. And I was like, whoa. And then the waves were carrying me up. It was a strange thing, because you got this ledge that comes up, and the waves come back and sort of sucks you out. And I'm going up, and I'm coming back in. I'm trying to back up with my flippers, and the foam of the water was getting me where I couldn't see her. And I just had a bad feeling, And I got out, and as soon as I cleared, I saw her turn right in front of me. And she came up, and I put my gun out, and I hit her, and she shoved me out of the water. Literally knocked me out of the water. And
with the jaws open, or?
I don't know.
You don't know, just still go out of the water.
She just hit me. Oh, there's the head. She hit me. Her head this wide, and she just pushed me out of the. I'm free diving, so she pushes me out of the water. I hit the water. I started backing up, looking all around. And I didn't see her, and I looked up to see where the boat was because the boat was outside. And as I started back to the boat, I saw the shadow turn and come right up. She was coming right up at me with her mouth open. And she got about halfway and she picked up speed. And I said, oh, shit. And in those days, we used to use not a reel on the gun, but a buoy with a long line. Because when you shoot a big fish, to go down, they have the buoy to hold it. Like you do tuna, And I had that, but the swells were coming up and I had this rope just wrapping all over me. It was like, shit, get off of me. It was like a ski rope. And as she came up, I put my gun as hard as I could and she run right into it. And she grabbed it, she opened her mouth, and I shoved the gun in her mouth. I just went, bam, and I backed up and she took the gun. And she just shaking it like, and she just crunching my gun. It was an old Arbalete, GBL, I can't remember. The metal was because we didn't use wood in those days too much. And I heard her just go, and I said, oh, shit. And I said, and then she started to shake, and all this rope was tangled around me, like Moby Dick. And I got this enormous shark in front of me, and I'm trying to push her away, and I'm trying to kick backwards, and the currents and everything, it was like, dude, I mean, you have no idea, the panic. Well, I didn't panic. I was just like, it was like, it just can't be happening, And finally, I was able to get the rope away from me, and I'm pushing away, and I'm starting back, and I started turning to shoot. And I said to myself, you never turn your, well, we had our rules, but not like you do now, keep your eyes on the shark, don't turn your back. It was all self-preservation. And I just turned around and swam as fast as I could to the boat because I had no gun, I had nothing to protect me, and I just started the boat. I hit the boat, and boom. And I was like, holy shit. And then I saw my buoy pop up. Boop. I went out and she'd cut the rope with the gun, everything was gone. And I actually, we had flew up to this area in a plane and got a bongo to go out diving. So we went back, we got on the plane, and I was like, shit, this can't be happening. But I said, okay. I got back to Panama, I got home. Dude, I went into a sweat. I was so scared. My hands were just shaking. I couldn't, I went into really, really a bad thing. And I said, I'm not diving anymore. I quit. And my buddy comes up and he said, no, man, you got to go back in. You got to go. You got to go back. I said, man, I don't know. I got to go. He took me back out and I said, okay, I got it finally. But little by little, I was able to get in. And it took me a long time. I would not dive with a tiger shark. I was scared shitless. I would dive with bull sharks and everything, but if I saw a tiger, it was like, come right back to me.
Tiger sharks are, I don't like tiger too much.
Yeah, but these, it's not like these Bahamian sharks that are trained. These are wild Pacific tigers. And, I've seen many of them now, and they're sharks to respect, But anyway, that was my bad situation. But then I took that and made it positive, into a thing. And I had cancer in 2006, pretty bad. And I sort of changed a lot of the ideas that I had, things I wanted to do. I haven't killed anything since 2006. I haven't killed one fish. My spear gun's hanging up over there. I don't use it anymore. I don't kill anything, but only for conservation. I think, everything has a right to live, and I went into admiring the sharks. The sharks were something called me to them. I don't know what it was. And I just started dedicating since that time, 100% to sharks.
That's awesome, bro. That's
I take people out. I do talks. We have our foundation, and that's been my life. I've been doing great whites in Guadalupe for 17 years.
Yeah, I know that.
Long fucking times, and
great whites is amazing.
Well, you swam with the great whites, what?
Yeah. Like not as many times as you, but maybe I have like 15 dives.
Yeah,
Great whites.
But what's you got any special ones?
Special dives? Do you mean?
No, special great whites.
Well, Schroeder used to be. I
That's right.
used to love Schroeder, but he just disappeared someday. No,
I
you know,
know.
we have a when we was filming Sharks of Mexico, we was helping Mauricio Hoyos to
Yeah.
set a transmitter on the coast,
Right.
and we do a dive without a cage at the coast, and we go straight right there to 90 feet to set the transmitter, and then three great white sharks show up, and Schroeder come very close to us to see what we was. That was an amazing encounter. So I'm telling you that encounter, and my skin is like you know.
Yeah, well, I know that. I know that 80-foot drop off. I know where that is.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it was amazing, bro. Hey, what about Silent Hunter? Tell us about your nickname. Why Silent Hunter?
Well, I started hunter. That's a good answer. Everybody asked me that. But I got that from Julie Rife. You know Rife spear guns?
No.
You never heard of Rife?
No.
Ah. Well, they make spear guns. It's
It's a brand.
they're very famous in spear guns, making
Okay.
spear guns. And I used to dive with her dad, Jay Rife. He represented the U.S. team, and I represented the Panama team way back, late 60s, late 60s. And anyway, his daughter, Jay, or Jill, she came down, and they were making a gun, and they wanted to make it. So what name can we make this gun? And I said, I don't know. I said, man, call it the whatever, I don't know, stupid names we started coming up with. And they said, Silent Hunter. Silent Hunter, that's a good name. Call the gun the Silent Hunter. I said, no. Oh, that's cool. She said, but you're the Silent Hunter because you got all the spots. You don't tell nobody where the fish are. You got treasure. You don't tell people where they're at. You're the Silent Hunter. I said, yeah, well, maybe. So she started calling me the Silent Hunter. And so it sort of picked up on me, and I named my boats Silent Hunter. So this is since the 80s. I've been known as a Silent Hunter.
Awesome. Hey, your top three shark encounters.
Huh? Top three?
Top three shark encounters.
Well, I have, I don't know if it's an encounter. Great white. It was a great white shark, female, and she's called Micaela Victoria.
Okay.
She's named after my granddaughter.
Oh, awesome, bro.
Yeah. And I named her. I found her. I named her. She's in the book, and she's called Micaela Victoria, and she was a young female. In 2014, I saw her. I spotted her. Very young female, and
in Guadalupe.
In Guadalupe. And so I was able to name her, film her. I said, okay, this is the book. Blah, blah, blah. You know how that goes. The book that they have with all the ID book. You have that, right?
Which one is?
Do you have a copy?
No, I don't have a copy of that book.
Oh my God, I got about 5 sharks in there. They got all my family names. But anyway, she's my granddaughter. And in 2016, I took my daughter to Guadalupe. First time she'd ever been there. Not my granddaughter, but my daughter. And my granddaughter was born in 2011, so she was about 5, 6 years old. Anyway, I get there, and I said, man, I hope you get to see Micaela. Because I've been seeing her every year because she wasn't mature. So she'd come back every year. And she was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but she was really spunky. Oh, yeah, very spunky for a female. A little female, she'd be, and I went down in the cage. I went down in a submersible cage, and I took my daughter down. And Micaela came up, and she started swimming around the cage. And I said, that's Micaela, I looked at her. And, well, she had saw her up on top, but she hadn't saw her in the submersible. And I'm laying in the submersible, and I laid down in the cage, and I put my camera out, and I'm laying down, and she went around a few times, and she came up to me, and I swear, I even got a little picture. She comes up, and she bumps the cage, sticks her nose in it, inside the cage, real easy. And I touch her on the nose, and she backs off and swims away.
No kidding. Beautiful.
That's an encounter.
That's a spiritual encounter.
A spiritual encounter. Well, yeah, exactly. And I explained this, actually. I was on a spiritual program, and I explained this. That it's something that I can't explain.
Do you own a spiritual program?
Yeah.
Oh, tell me more about it.
Oh, well, to throw along about it, this girl, she's a lady, but she's got this program that, she actually, well, I'll tell you private better.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, but are you a spiritual person?
Yes, I'm such a spiritual person.
Yeah, you have to get on her program.
I would love to, bro.
I mean, she is such a beautiful lady, and she's got. I mean, we talk all the time, just by chat sometimes.
I would love.
Yeah. Because,
hey, bro.
Because so many things in my life. I mean, I've got this far. I mean, I got to believe in something,
Yeah. Well, you tell me one encounter. Second encounter.
Oh, my eyes.
Maybe the one you have with the tiger. I mean, it's a scary encounter, but it can be part of the 3 encounters.
That's that's learning,
Yeah.
But the scary part, and great whites, I mean, I've been out of the cage many times with great whites. I have never really had any issues with great whites to have to run back to the cage, because we always went down with a submersible cage, close by.
I know how it works.
Yeah, because something to get out in. I mean, I used to go out. The first time I ever got in the water, I got in. I don't know if you know him. Damn, what was his name? God. We used to just jump off the back of the boat and swim out. I didn't know any better. I was crazy. This was in 2006.
Okay.
Something like, what was it? Aguilar?
Fernando, yes.
Which one you know?
Well, I know the father and the son and the brother. I know all the family.
You know the family. Okay. Remember the cousin? No, your brother. He died.
Tony. Yes.
Tony.
Yes, I know.
Antonio.
But I went out of the cage. My first time out of the cage was with Tony also.
Tony. They call him something else.
It was around the same year that you was, because no. My first time out of the cage with Tony was maybe 2010.
2010.
Yeah.
Wow. That was before that. Wow. That was before that.
I have some beautiful pictures of Tony out of the cage with the great one.
I like him. He was a very spiritual guy too, sort of,
Yeah, with the ponytail.
Ponytail. Yeah, always with his ponytail. Always with his ponytail. I really liked him, Antonio, and
he was a beautiful.
I dove with him like 3 or 4 times, and but we just jump off the back of the boat, swim out, hold on to the back of the cage, let go, and that's the first time I ever got out of the cage with a white shark, with Antonio.
Yeah,
with a broomstick, with a stick. What are you doing here, man? But I know all the family. I've actually used all their boats for my groups.
Yeah, it's a shame that the Guadalupe is closed. No,
we're working on it very strong. I think it's going to open. Quickly.
Mauricio told me about it. I want to run a scientific expedition with Mauricio in August. We're gonna tag bull sharks in a new area in Mexico with Mauricio, and he told me that you're working hard to open the island again. Yeah,
it looks like we're doing that. It sort of started with a guy by the name of Mario Gomez.
Yep, I know him.
Mario, yeah, I met Mario here in Panama in CITES, and our ocean, the CITES conference, and also our oceans, and we become very good friends. And he seems to be sort of influential in Mexico, and he was good friends of Pedro, I think, which is the guy in charge of protected areas in Mexico.
They changed it. Mauricio told me that they changed it. They put a new guy, and the new guy is more open than the last one.
What's his name? Pedro?
I don't remember. Mauricio told me, but I don't remember.
How long ago I talked to Mauricio the other day. How long ago?
Like 2 months ago.
Yeah, this is the new guy.
Yeah, that's the new guy.
He's very open. He's very open. I actually made a letter and sent it to him on the request of Mario, because they said, hey, it's better somebody outside sends than us in Mexico.
Exactly.
You know? And so I sent it. I got a very good response. He contacted Mario and they talked and everything. So it was pretty promising. So I think it's going to be open. I don't think this year. Unless they do they may do what do you call it? A research, scientific research.
Yep. Hey, bro. What do you think about get involved in new generations in shark diving? Do you think that helps to protect the sharks and
Oh yeah.
awareness?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The younger generation is a lot more open-minded to conserving sharks than the old times. I started giving shark talks maybe to schools, maybe over 15 years ago, and I had people get in a graduation class that actually wanted to study marine biology. I did the same talks maybe 5, 6, 7 years later at the same school, higher class. I'm Mr. Bolton. I remember when you were here, I've really learned so much and appreciate the sharks, and told my parents, told other people about this. And so you see so much reaction, how when the younger up till, as they grow.
They change.
Yeah, education is number one, dude.
Yeah.
The education is number one.
Education equals conservation, no?
Exactly. I mean, to educate these young people, educating the people. I do talks at schools, government, private talks. But I see it a lot. I mean, everybody wants to support me here in Panama on not changing this law, modifying the law, because you can't change the law. Like in Mexico, changing the law, forget about it. To modify it.
Yes. What keeps you moving at that age is amazing. I mean, I see you, and I all the time I'm commenting your posts because you're really an example for a lot of people, for me, and for a lot of people, not just in the shark world or in the shark industry. I mean, you're an example that life goes on, and you can be passionate at that age, and you can dream about at that age, and you can be. I mean, you can be. I don't know if the word is illusionate about new things.
Right.
Tell me more.
Well, my worst fear is to get up in the morning and have no program, nothing to do, no new adventure, something to do. That's my worst fear. I don't worry about fear at all. Worst fear is to get up, walk in, and say, "What can I do?" I can't do anything. I don't have to. I'd be so scary for me. I got to be doing something, and I got to do something, that's good. Like working on my foundation. If I don't, go back editing, doing stuff. I mean, I was just so blessed to be able to be part of this new documentary. Actually, this morning, I had to do. They contacted me yesterday, and they said, "Would you please do a 3 to 4 minute talk? So after the documentary shown in Milan, we would like for you to talk about the documentary and a little bit." I was stoked. I mean, they come and ask this old dude, and I sent it. I did it. I got up early. I went out on the causeway in the ocean here, and I did it. And I sent it to them, and the guy says, it's two young Italian guys,
Okay.
Marco and Andreas Spinelli.
Okay.
And I'll send you their. You see the thing I said, Shark Parade, that I've been posting?
Yeah.
Okay, go on their link and see. That's really good. But anyway, I did this and I sent it to him, and he said, "Oh, Mike, I love it." I cried. I said, "Oh man, you brought tears to my eyes." But the thing, man, life's short, man, and if I can keep doing what I do.
What advice can you give it to us for the younger generations?
Well, real quick, my stories are always too long because I'm an old man. When you get old, you tell your stories long. The old man. But when I turned 80, my daughter gave me a birthday party with some friends, and all my friends are young. I don't hang out with old people.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a good advice.
I don't hang out with old people, man. The old people, but all of my friends are young. The oldest guy I hang out with is Jeremiah, and he said, but when I had my birthday, the young people there, and speech, But I said, I watch you guys, and I see all of you, that your all life is just, you're all of you are stressed. You're always worried about tomorrow, worried about how am I going to put my kids in school? Oh, I can't have a new car. I can't have the house on the beach. How am I going to do all of this? I'm on my phone, the competition, I'll take it, back up.
Take it easy.
Slow down. I look at life like the Alcoholics Anonymous.
Okay.
A day at a time. A day at a time. That's how life goes. Don't be thinking too far ahead because you'll go crazy. You got to take a day at a time. What do I do today? If my kids are in school today, am I paying their tuition? That's great. Am I get the opportunity to pay down on the house by the end of this year? That's great. Don't think too far ahead, because if I did that, I would never be here today. I wouldn't even think that I would be here today and having what I have and accomplish what I have. And I said, here I was going back before 80 at 78 years old. I made a movie. I was asked to be in a movie. I was actually asked to do the cinematography, underwater sharks cinematography of the movie with Mike Dornellis, but Mike died. And so there I was doing it on my own. And I ended up as a producer and filming it. And then they asked me when we were starting it, of the way that I was, they had the captain, he was a captain, also a diver, that couldn't make it. He was in Brazil and he couldn't do the thing. So they said, have you ever acted? And I said, hey, I've been acting all my life just to be here. Every day I'm acting, And they laughed and said, would you do a screen test? I said, sure. So I ended up being an actor, having the highest dialogue of the movie. So there I was, an actor, 78 years old. At 77, I would think nothing of it. An actor, producer, and doing underwater cinematography for a major film. And then me and my wife comes up with this idea, a foundation. So we're foundations, that we own this foundation. We bring in all these young biologists that are working for Smithsonian, and they're working with us. We have 5 different marine biologists and students working in our foundation. And our foundation, we don't take donations. We have no donations from anybody. We have one person that helped us, and the monies that me and my wife have put in it.
Awesome.
So we do it ourselves. There's no donate. If you go to my website, you don't see donate. It's ourselves. So I tell the young people, I'm 77. Fuck. Here I am getting new projects. So that's life. Life continues. What's going to come tomorrow? I don't know. But I know something's good going to happen.
Do you think that illusion of that new thing's going to happen?
Oh, it brings it. Oh, yeah.
That keeps us life and passion and energized everything.
No negative thinking. No negative things. No negative things. I'm my psychiatrist.
Yeah.
My psychiatrist. She's my psychiatrist, but I'm her psychiatrist. So she just said, hey, can you come by and see me at noon? Because I'm free. I'm finished. Okay. So I go over. And we sat in her office and we talked for 2 hours. And she tells me stuff and I tell her things, what I'm doing, what she's doing. At the time, we're both feeling a hell of a lot better.
Hey man, you say that it's very important the people you are surrounded, no? And you told me that you are surrounded about young people, but apart the age, that kind of people that you surrounded, what can you tell me about them? They're like a positive people, energized people. What kind of people do you like to be surrounded?
Well, I like to be around by positive people. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that even in this industry, You know, this industry is mean. Everybody's envious and they're this and that. You know how it is.
Yeah, I know.
It's a crazy thing, and a few times, you know, you just, you know, let it go, but try not to fight with people too much. You know, I'm a fighter. You know, like my psychiatrist said, "Tú margao, sí señor, tú eres margao." I said, yo no soy margao. Claro que sí, tú eres margao, but I'm not margao. But anyway, I have an old friend that died. His name was John Wayne. Did you know who he was?
Yeah.
The actor?
Yeah, definitely.
John Wayne. Well, I met John Wayne back in the 60s, and I was diving out on spearfishing out on a marlin fishing reef with sharks all over the place. He thought I was crazy. I met him there because he was up there fishing. And I would come into the dock at night and bring in my equipment, bring in my boat. You know, I was spearfishing commercially in a shark-infested water. Back in the day. That's another story. And actually, that was in 1971 because I was doing that to feed the Caribbean Games that were being held in Panama in 1971. Anyway, to get back, another story. Always another story. But he tells me, he said, Mike, well, you know, I met him on several different times and very nice man. And he said to me, you know, Mike, you can count your best friends on your 5 fingers. If you got 5, that's probably too many. And they're not true. If you got 2, then you're a lucky man. So count your best friends on your 5 fingers, no more.
That's awesome, bro.
I've always remembered that. You have acquaintances, you have friends that you call your friends, your amigos, your friends, your Conoce. I know this guy, I know that. But 2, I have 2. And one just died.
I'm so sorry, bro.
He died the 1st of May. And it was one of my best friends. And the other one I was with yesterday, lives in Guayaquil, Ecuador, and he was here yesterday. And he's got Parkinson's. And he's 81. So here we are. You know, he's got Parkinson's. He's trying to hang on. I'm 83. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just like, God, I'm blessed. I got the best wife in the world. I got the best daughters in the world. I got 2 Jack Russells that drive me crazy every day. So I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. You know,
well,
and I have all these young people that work with me, and when I go out with them, they're just amazing, and they all look up to me. And you know, people, when they look up to me, I don't know if that's a good word, bad word, whatever. I look up to them. You know, if somebody says, "Hey, you're a legend," I say, "No, you're the legend," and I'm just here. You know, I'm just trying to get this far. But you surround by good people like that, and it's amazing. Like you. You know, my wife has complimented on you so many times because I had showed her years ago that movie that you made. You made that with who else was with?
Paul Spielvogel.
I know Paul.
Paul, I don't know if you know it, but he has Alzheimer badly.
Really?
Yeah, it's so sad, man.
But he's not that old.
No, he's right now. Paul has to be something like 63.
63, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame.
His daughter, what's her name?
Jessie.
Jessica. I know with her, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Wow.
Talking about Paul, I want to ask you a question. What is more important, the goal or the path?
Wow. The future or the past?
No, the goal. I mean, make the goals come true, or the path. The path.
I try not to live in the past too much because I mean I have tremendous movement.
Not the past. I mean the path, the road.
Oh, the path, the goal. No, the path. No, man. I always say my journey is my journey, and my journey is the most important. I mean, when you reach the goal, God, man, that must be scary. That must be scary. what do you do when you reach the goal?
Yeah.
Is there
I don't
something
like-
else? I mean, you know, I mean,
I
my
like you.
goal. I mean, my goal is not out there. I mean, I got, like I say to my friends or people, Andy, I always tell Andy this, Casa Grande. You know, Andy, I don't buy green bananas because I can't afford for them. I can't wait for them to ripen.
Oh, that's a great advice, bro. Like,
So Andy says, green bananas. I said, green bananas, Andy, always green bananas.
oh, bananas, not green bananas.
I don't have time. But, you know, I think the journey is the most important. You know, like tomorrow, I got another journey. The next day, another journey. I mean, right now, I'm on a journey with my good friend, my new Scottish hammerhead shark.
Ah, that's amazing, bro. I
Yeah.
follow you on the
So, you know,
I love the videos that you sent me about the shark. Is that a lady or
huh?
it is a male shark or a female?
No, she's female.
Female.
And she gave birth. She gave birth. So we know when she gave birth because I actually took 2 of her young and took DNA samples and let them go. But she gave the pups about 20 pups. But I think it was the stress. You know, I'm sure it was the stress. But all the pups were ready to be born, and they all swam away. Thank God. I mean, but when we had her beside the boat, we were putting the drill in the pin and putting the satellite tag in, and she started pupping. And the pups come out. We took a couple of them real quick, and we took a sample, let them go. So we have the DNA. We have her DNA. We do know that she gave birth on that day. So now we can see the gestation period at work.
We will follow it.
So definitely, I wish there was a platform like the White Shark, so people could see that. You know, I'm gonna see if we can do that because it's already been done before. I was showing my Mauricio.
Yes,
He's like, wow, man. I said, yeah, because I was trying to get Mauricio to come down because he was in Malpelo a few months ago, and I said, hey, bro, you got to come down here and help me on the fucking tag some of these.
If Mauricio goes with you, I would love to join you guys.
Oh man, let's do it.
I will help you with the camera.
I've been camera guy. Good.
Yeah,
What are you shooting with?
Oh,
What are you shooting with now?
I'm still shooting with Canon.
Oh, it's in the Canon.
Yeah.
Well, I'm stuck with the Sony.
Sun is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the A1 and the older one, which is the A7S3.
Yes, I got the X6.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a beautiful one too. Also,
That's a good underwater camera, man. You get some really good colors out of it. You know, I like the colors in the Canon a lot better because Sony is a bit difficult to work with in colors. You
know what? I mean, shooting Canon all my life, and I like it. I mean, I used to Canon, so and I don't have a sponsorship to tell me, hey, use my camera. If Sony comes, tell me use the camera, maybe I will come. And I will go to Sony, no?
Oh man! Hey, I see the book behind you. Is that your book?
Yep, that's my book. That's
damn, bro.
Yeah, that's let me show you. This is Los Tiburones también tienen miedo, which is not more. I mean, I'm telling some adventures in that book that is more about personal growth. I get divorced like 2 years ago, and I started writing the book as a example as a way to recover myself.
It's good, yeah.
And I get the book. I get the book, and in this book, I will send it to you to Panama. It's in the.
Can you buy the book on Amazon?
Yeah, you can buy it on Amazon.
Oh, buy it on Amazon.
I will send you the link, and it's more about. I mean, I'm talking about my adventures, about how I grew up, about how I get involved to scuba diving and shark diving, but it's more focused on personal advices about how to manage our fears to make our goals come true.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. That's my last baby.
That's good. That's a good idea what you're saying. That's a good idea.
But Mike, I'm as you. I mean, I finish a project and I have to set another project. And that keeps me alive.
You got to. You can't be waiting around. You know, it's us, man. That's the way we are.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're shark dudes. You know, I mean, most of the people in this, you know what? I've noticed that most of the people in this industry, they're consistent with it, you know, and they all got goals, you know, sort of, you know. I mean, even Ocean now coming out with their Netflix documentary, you know. But I don't know. You know, I guess I've been really blessed to know everybody in this industry, either good, bad, or ugly, whatever. And I was just working the other day with Forrest Galante. You know Forrest?
Yeah. No,
the other day, he's good, really good guy. He came to my house on the island and stayed there for a week. We went out diving every day for a week. No, longer, about 8 days.
Awesome.
And yeah, he's a cool guy. But I was going to say something. What was I going to tell you? And we got off track about something.
Because we were talking about projects.
No, before that, we were talking about, I don't know what it was. It was.
I was telling you about the book, and then I say that I'm a person like you, that I like to set projects all the time, and that make me feel alive.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing. But you know, I think, I mean, usually I get divorced. I mean, my wife, I don't know what I would do. If she wasn't there the next day, I wouldn't know what I would do. You know, that would be disastrous for me. But
I see that you're a very grateful people. What can you tell us about grateful? About being grateful?
Being grateful?
Yeah.
For other people?
Yeah, I mean, what means for you, and how that make your life better, or fulfillment, or whatever.
God, I mean, I met so many people in my life that have either been very positive to you, or being very negative to you, or positive, being grateful to know, like I say, some of the best in the business, you know. And when you know these people and being accepted by them, you know, like you. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Is that my wife? Let me get back before I forget again. My wife, remember, she saw you, and I was telling her about your book. Your yeah, TV. What was it called? Sharks of Mexico.
Mexico.
And I was showing it to her, and I showed you because she saw you chatting me or something on Instagram, and she said, "Oh, he's a very nice guy. I like him. You know, he seems like a very nice guy." Very. And then when I told her I was doing it with you, she said, "Oh, that's great. I like him," because she always says, "I want to know who you're talking to before you go do an interview." You know?
Oh, awesome! I appreciate it. I'm very happy with your wife.
I don't know where she went. Becky, hey. She was gone. I don't know. She would see my granddaughter. I thought I saw her come through, but she'd really, you know. I think hopefully get together and meet. We can meet one time, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I will go to visit you. I'm gonna plan.
Mauricio knows her very well. Everybody knows her. They call her the misguided hunter. You know, she takes care of everybody. She's like the mama. You know?
When is a good season to go there and do some scuba diving?
God, I don't know. Probably it's always a different time, but probably April is always a good time.
For sharks?
For clear water, for nights. You know what? I got a project coming up. Actually, they called Andy. Andy had called me, and then Shark Week called me. They wanted to do a shoot here in Panama. I found a place where it's just fucking full of bull sharks. But these bull sharks are wild, they're aggressive. They're I will send you the link when I went to film them.
Okay.
I'll send that to you. And I went out, and it was a ledge that I thought there'd be a lot of sharks. It was a drop off and an area that I knew. And I'll explain it in the video. I'll send it to you. But I run into an area that had a lot of big bull sharks on it. And and Shark Week wanted to make a movie where they want to remake the story of the Indianapolis.
Oh, I get it.
And I said, yeah, well, okay. But they wanted a place where they got a lot of sharks and have people floating in the water and make it really look water, not like the Bahamas, but you can see the bottom, but in really sort of greenish water, like like the ocean, you know.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I got it. I can do it for you. And actually, Andy said, hey, there's only one guy who can do that in Panama, and that's Mike, you know. So they contacted me, but I don't know what happened. They never came through. I don't know. But anyway, I did find this area. It's got a lot of big bull sharks, and I want to tag them.
Awesome.
I want to tag them because I would like to get some tags in some bull sharks. Wildlife Computer is just sending me 8 new ones, new satellite tags that they're giving me free.
Awesome.
Yeah, the new ones, the new updated. I think they're the 401s or something like that. Spot tags.
Are you gonna fish them to tag them, or just with a spear gun?
Well, I don't. This is the problem. Is Panama, you can't really dive like in some areas where it's clear, where you could go down and put a tag in them. You really got to catch them and put them up beside the boat. How you tagging the bull sharks? By
we're not gonna put satellite tags. Just what's the name of the tags? Acoustic tags, and we're gonna set them with a spear gun.
With spear guns.
With spear gun or a Hawaiiana.
Oh yeah. Where are you going to do this?
That's in San Carlos. No, sorry, very close to Los Mochis. It's a new place, a new spot that they found a bull sharks. I will send you some videos. There's a plenty of the island called the Las Farallones. Yeah, that's a new spot, and Mauricio are tagging those sharks just to check if there's a connection with the sharks. That's at the Sea of Cortez, but of the part of the country, part of the land, and they want to see if there's connection of those sharks and the ones are on the Baja Peninsula. It's very interesting. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's a new spot. Nobody goes there, and we're gonna do that expedition on August 20 to 25th.
But who you going with?
With myself.
no, just you and Mauricio.
Mauricio and some of my expedition clients that go with us.
Okay.
And we're financially with Land and Dive Encounter. We're financing this expedition.
Okay.
The idea is to set the receiver is already there, so we're gonna set 3D tags. That's our goal.
Acoustics.
Yeah,
I've got some receivers out that I got to try to find. Actually, I'm going to go out next week. I can't find them. I haven't. I don't know whether I don't, because this is a different type of area. We got a lot of currents in here. The water's not that clear, and I don't know whether maybe they were picked up by a shrimp boat.
Yeah.
Or bolinchero.
Those
drag nets. I don't know. But I think I can find one. I think I know where, because I got it. I think I can get that one, but I have 3 that I can't find. Fuck.
Yeah. Those shrimp boats are the worst.
They're the worst, man. I mean, it's not crazy, but I got a lot of. I got like 14 acoustic tags that I got to use.
Yeah.
And I got to use them, man.
If you want to come, you're more than welcome to join us.
When are you going?
That spot is in Mexico.
But when?
August the 20 to 25th.
Let me look at it. See.
Okay, you're more than welcome to join.
Bring up some of my acoustic tags.
Oh, that would be great.
I have a lot, and I need to get them working.
Yeah.
Well, I think on the bull sharks, to put a satellite tag, you're going to have to bring them by the boat.
Yeah, that will be good. I know that will be the best.
That's the only way. You know Yanis?
No.
Yanis, he's a Greek guy.
Okay.
I worked him with great whites before him, and tagging great whites with fin cam, and I'm sure you don't know Yanis, huh?
No.
He's a good friend of Mauricio as well.
Anyway. Hey, bro.
That's what I like to do, is get a fin cam.
Yeah.
On a bull shark.
Yeah.
But do that, but do something. Hey, I know you gotta run, but it's been great, man.
I just want to ask you a last question. May I have?
Sure.
How do you like to be remembered when you transform your life to the next life?
That I was humble, and I did something for the planet. I had a good family, and people remember me for what I tried to do. I think that's, it's not really been, well, I guess I'll always be known as a shark guy. I'm the only guy here. It's not like Mexico or the States where you got 100 or 200 of people. I'm on my own here. I mean, I got to capture market. So either good or bad, I'm the only one, But I guess I will always be known as the guy that's trying to save the sharks and to shark conservation and teaching a lot of people what I do. I've taken out so many people on shark expeditions. In 17 years of doing minimum 4 trips a year to Guadalupe, how many people I've taken.
No, that's a lot.
And how many lives I've changed with people that have come back to me and just come back. I've had so many repeated people that come back, And we only take 12 people, so I never take a lot of people. I usually do the expenses, make a little money. We take 12 people, and me and my wife. That's 14. And that's it, So we can always just, have education as well as awareness. And then Mauricio has come with me many, many, many times, to give me his, we say our dog and ponies talk show,
Yeah.
But I think that's important, I mean, I would hate to be. I know there's a lot of people. They say, yeah, I know him, and he's an asshole. Well, I mean, I know everybody talks about everybody. I mean, I had this person. I won't say names, but I had this person that I thought was my friend, and it was a person that was that. And I'd asked this person on the shark dive. She's a famous person. She's a girl, and not Ocean. So I don't think it's Ocean.
Okay.
Another person, and I dove with her several times. And I said, hey, I want you to, can you help me on my foundation, your support? Not money. I would just like, because you have the market, you could sort of help me on my foundation, talk about it, and explain, help me out and support it, I'm very particular for who I support. I just said, oh, sorry, and it was like, ugh. And then I see her doing it with people that their interest of being somebody that can help them.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know perfect what you mean.
If you're not going to help me, why am I going to bother? That's a bad way to look at things. I mean, I like to help people. I picked up a shoe shine kid the other day and said, dude, you see, I see him all the time, but I don't shine shoes anymore. I said, dude, nobody shines shoes anymore, man. Everybody wear tennis shoes. He said, yeah, Mr. Mike, but I got to do something. I said, shit, we got to get you to do something. So I went out and bought him some things he wanted to do and got him on a new track. And he comes over sometimes and has lunch, and my maid will feed him lunch, and he'll sit around. And I said, you need anything? But he's trying. You know what I mean?
He's trying. I agree.
And so, I mean, you can't help the world, dude. I mean, sometimes these people in the street, they beg, get out of my way. You can work. You can do something, But if you come to me and ask me, I'll take off my shirt for you. That's just the way I am. Sometimes my wife gets mad. She says, you take advantage of you. I said, what are they going to take from me? Nothing. What have I got? But that's the way I am.
You're beautiful people, bro. I really appreciate your time. I mean, that you open your heart to me.
Oh, at any time.
To our community. And I'm really looking forward to see you in person.
Definitely. We're going to do this.
Yeah, and I would love to share energy with you guys, bro.
Good. Hey, but before we close, I know Paul was with you on that dive, but there was somebody else, a Mexican as well.
Becky Kagan. Well, all the Mexicans were in that documentary. Alberto Frisioni, El Chino, Fernando.
Fernando Aguilar? No, Fernando was there.
Fernando Aguilar, yes.
Was Fernando there?
Yeah, Fernando's father there.
Oh, the old man, yeah.
Alberto Frisione. From Mexico was the camera. Well, the camera girl was Becky Kagan. He's hello, Mike. Do you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the shark people, David Castro from Cabo Pulmo, all the shark peoples from.
I'm gonna watch it again. I gotta watch
Yeah,
it again. I announce it.
I will send you the link so you have some stuff to see this night
Yeah. Send it to me. I'll send you the link. I'll send you the trailer of the movie and the documentary and stuff.
Awesome, bro.
All
I
right.
really appreciate your time,
I
bro.
gotta get you down here, maybe to finish up a documentary down here. You know.
I would love to.
But that's what we're doing. You know, we're doing like a journey through Panama. You know, as you say, a journey. You know, and this is what we're doing as well. So yeah,
it's about the journey.
About the journey, man, not about the goal. You know.
Like, I agree with.
You know, everybody says there's no second place. I said, shit, man. There's fifth place. I mean, there's a lot of places. You don't have to be first. You don't have to be first place to be the best. Let me tell you.
Awesome,
You know?
bro.
So that's why I tell my granddaughter when she cries because she doesn't win. She has what do you call it? Flag football.
Yep.
And they've been champions for 2 years of all the schools in Panama. All the schools. And she's a female team, you know. And she was like, they come in second, and she was crying. I said, dude, what's wrong with you? Dude, you're still the champ. 2 years, you beat everybody in Panama, every school. And you got 2 awards personally. They call her the Flecha. Because she's like, choom, she's so fast. I said, you even got a nickname like Silent Hunter. He said, but Dad, your grandpa, you're famous. I said, I'm not famous. You're famous. You're Fletcher. Everybody, all the school kids that play ball, they say, who's the Fletcher? Micaela de la Guardia. Micaela Victoria de la Guardia. I said, there you go. You're the girl. So, you know, you got to pick, sometimes you got to pick them up.
Exactly.
You know? So, anyway, guy, I'll let you go. It's been an honor.
I really appreciate, bro. You're a beautiful person. And I really appreciate this time.
Thank you. I feel like I know you already.
And see you soon, bro.
Okay. Bye-bye.
For the Sharks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, my friend.